In today's video, I'm going to make this citrus self-warming face mask with this following ingredients. Now, if you'd like the full recipe to this particular mask, this is available over for the members of the Thermal Mermaid Crafters community. If you're a member, then you can go directly to the link below and this will take you over to the members exclusive version of this video, which explains the full recipe. So for this video today, I'm going to cover two topics that involve this citrus face scrub so that you can keep these ideas in mind when you're crafting similar products at home with your DIY face clay masks. Now, the first topic uses zeolite clay as a self-warming agent in your face masks so that you can get a mask that warms your face when you mix it with water and then wash it off. And the second topic is using citrus essential oils in your face scrubs and some warnings that come along with that. So let's get into it. Zeolite is a fine volcanic powdered ash, and this stuff has a molecular structure that can create a thermogenic reaction. Basically, upon contact with water, there's a chemical bond in the zeolite, and that's broken, and then energy is released in the form of heat. Now, this is fairly subtle, and in my experience, after making this for a few times over the course of a few years, I find that some zeolite packaging is better than others. It depends on what kind of brand you buy. And these changes, they vary over time. You really just do have to experiment when you go out purchasing the zeolite powder for yourself. So what happens is that when you make a zeolite clay mask, and you leave it as either a dry powder or you combine it with oils and then you make the mask like you see in this light sugar scrub that I'm making right now. The zeolite, it's not activated, but it will become activated when it comes in contact with water. So you can use this as a lightweight exfoliating scrub with the clay to draw out dirt and impurities, and then the sugar to give it a bit of a fresh skin turnover. And then when you go to wash it off, then you'll feel the mask warm up slightly as it's being rinsed away. And these three things together are really a beautiful combination for a face product. So now, for some tips to keep in mind when you're making a self-warming DIY face mask. If you compare this to an over-the-counter brand of self-warming face masks, the over-the-counter one is going to give off a little bit more of a warming sensation. And that's for two reasons. First, these companies are using non-activated zeolite, and they've sourced specifically for their brand, so they're using the same thing consistently over and over. And when we make this, we're buying this in about 32-ounce powder clay portions at a time from specific suppliers that you'll choose maybe on Amazon or maybe from a soap supply or cosmetic supply company. And the self-warming quality may be a bit less. You really don't have that purchasing power that a big company will have as it's outsourcing its brands. So you're not always going to get the consistent reaction when you're buying the product over and over again because you may be sourcing it from different places. Now, by the way, the warming effect, that's also a bit of a novelty. It's just sort of a selling part. The clay, the real benefits from the clay itself come from its cleansing properties and those rich minerals that this volcanic ash, this volcanic powder contains. So the warming effect, it's not the key reason to use it. It's just an extra feature that adds some variety to some of your products. Now, those over-the-counter products, they actually combine a few other chemicals that enhance that warming effect. These are all fairly harmless chemicals. They're ubiquitous in a lot of other your over-the-counter products as well, but albeit still chemicals that you would get from a cosmetic supplier. And you can also get those and incorporate those into your recipe as well, but they're a bit more advanced. And the products that we make here, we're leaning more toward natural products. So how would you enhance the warming effect with just a few natural ingredients? Well, you can do that as well. And if you want to use a self-warming effect as a selling point of your mask, if you really want to enhance that quality of your mask, one way that you could do that would be to add the zeolite and combine it with a little bit of paprika or maybe a light pepper spice to the recipe. Now, I haven't written that into my sugar scrub recipe because that's not really the direction that I take in this particular one. The self-warming effect of the zeolite, it's very subtle and it's very nice, but if you really want to enhance that, you can mix in a little bit of paprika. Anything that stimulates blood flow to the surface of the skin will just give it a little bit of a bump to that self-warming effect. But you do have to be careful because keep in mind, there are plenty of cosmetics that have paprika as an ingredient. You still have to use good judgment because this is still a pepper, and even if it's the lightest effect, you're still putting a pepper on your face. So just keep that in mind when you're adding it in. Now you could also try a lightly dusted coffee ground, one that has not been brewed. So you grind the beans and use them dry. Now that'll give a little bit of a stimulating effect. However, in my opinion, I really only like to put sugar in my scrubs. And that's because if you do manage to get the little particles in your eye, sugar will melt, but beans and little hard coarse particles, that will be a little bit more difficult. Now, obviously, you advise people not to rub this into their eyes. It's not meant to go into your eyes, but should something as you're washing your face get into your eye, sugar is a much easier thing to solve. Now, in the next video, I'm going to be making a heavy moisturizing hair mask for dry hair that will also give you a lot of volume. And we're going to talk about what makes it a volumizing mask and how to keep these heavy butters stable so that your products don't melt or deflate in the jar after you've made them. So if you want some tips and tricks on making body butters or any kind of a product that you want to fluff up and have a nice light texture, but you also want to keep it stable, then you want to tune into the next video and you'll get tips and tricks. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you can get the notice when this is released. Now, the second topic I want to cover in this video is about fragrances. Now, most commonly, people don't like fragrances in their face products. Now, this is a clay mask, and like a lot of clay, it smells like earth. Now, since this is not a lotion or it's not makeup, and you're using it with the intent to apply it and then wash it right off, I do like having a fragrance in this product, just like any of my other sugar scrubs that I would use in the shower. Now keep in mind, when we discuss fragrances in skin products, all fragrances could possibly cause sensitivities, even if you're not allergic. You could eventually develop sensitivities over time, and some fragrances are more problematic than others. Now in this product, I use a grapefruit essential oil because I love how this fragrance has a vibrant, fresh scent, and it really masks that earth scent of the clay. It blends nicely with the cocoa butter, and overall, it's really just a pleasant blend for the entire combination, and that's why I call this one my morning citrus sugar polish. Now with that said, for many people, citrus essential oils are off limits for their faces. Now, there are some people out there that just cannot tolerate citrus essential oils, and to make it even more difficult, citrus essential oils are photosensitive, which means that they can have a burning effect if applied to the skin and then someone goes out in direct sunlight. There's a chemical change that occurs when citrus essential oils react with sunlight, and that can create, it's actually essentially a chemical burn that can happen on your skin that enhances anything that the sun itself might do. So this includes bergamot, sweet orange, grapefruit, any of the citrus essential oils. Now, if this is a concern for you, you can mitigate by adding a grapefruit fragrance oil, which will have a nice fresh citrus scent, but it will be made with a synthetic mixture, which is also skin safe and specifically made for skin products. So that's also another option. It's also much more likely to be less reactive. Now, this particular product is applied and it's immediately washed away from the skin. So there's not really much of a chance of a very small amount of essential oil doing any damage. And personally, with my personal choices, I have no issue with using it on my face or allowing for my family members to use it. We all seem to be of a normal sensitivity. Nobody's oversensitive and will react just like anyone else to all the normal things, but don't generally have any outstanding problems. However, there are well-known side effects to citrus essential oils, and this should be reminded anytime you want to put these in any of your skin products. There are some incidents out there where women have used citrus essential oils as a skin moisturizer, or even sometimes just a calming therapy on their skin, and then they've gone tanning, only to have their skin blister and scar. So the warnings are very real. Even if they're unlikely, they're still very real, and you definitely would not put anything like that on your skin, leave it on your skin, and then have direct exposure to sunlight. So in this recipe, I've crafted a grapefruit. Sometimes I use a lime essential oil, but that can be changed for something sort of less taboo for someone who's very sensitive, or you can leave out a fragrance altogether. The earth-based clay aroma, it's in the product, but it does not translate to your skin after it's been washed off. So if it's only realized for the time that you're using it, So no fragrance is also a really reasonable option for this product if you really feel like you want to omit the fragrance altogether. We'll see you all in the next video.